Did you grow up watching them? Because anyone I would ask, especially boys, would always talk about, you know, The Godfathers and The Departed and all those films that have kind of fascinated a whole generation. Was it the same with you?
Yeah, I mean, Goodfellas is one of my, you know, all-time favourite movies. Mean Streets, and movies where people are behaving badly and carrying guns is always, I think, a fascinating thing. Maybe particularly for boys, I'm not sure. But and also as a young actor, it was an opportunity to kind of become fascinated by these performances of people behaving in a very malevolent way, which became very exciting. You know, watching these guys like De Niro
And
you know,
Brando and
and bust each other up. It was pretty amazing. But it's definitely that window into a dangerous world that becomes exciting, I think, to watch.
You're never one to choose an easy performance, but are some performances more challenging than others because you have to transform into someone like John Connolly?
They are. I mean, sometimes you are surprised by how difficult or not as difficult a performance is. I think your perception leading into it is one thing, and then your perception in retrospect is something different. I went into this feeling like I had a really difficult challenge on my hands, and I did, you know, particularly with the accent. I was very nervous about getting a Boston accent or getting the accent of John right. But looking back on it after a certain time, maybe because the shoot was very long, I started to just have a great time, and I wasn't so much worried about it, and it felt like we hit a rhythm that made it less difficult in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that particular era and that particular region of South Boston, it's so colorful. It's so, you know, easy to see on screen. How much of a joy was it to step on that set and just recreate something?
Well, colourful. I mean, most of my suits were brown and beige.
Yeah, but
yeah, but colourful in a
vintage way.
In a character way as well. I mean, the town or the area of South Boston is its own little universe, and this story is its own particular kind of collision of characters and events that could only have been, I think, in that time, in that space with those people, given that Whitey and Billy were brothers, and one was a criminal and one was a politician, and that John had been a school friend of theirs, and he created the third part of that triangle as a high-ranked member of the FBI. And within that triangle created this sort of freedom for particularly Whitey to be doing some very bad things unaccounted for. And hence that story. But yeah, South Boston is a big character in this movie as much as any of the individual players are.
No, absolutely. It's been very interesting for you, you know, obviously a lot of acting, but directing as well. How much are you enjoying that aspect of Hollywood where you have a little bit more freedom to do the projects you want to do?
I love it. I like creating stuff. I mean, I like to move in to direct something else. But there's also a great freedom to being in the safe hands of someone like Scott and just be an actor. I mean, directing a movie really taught me more about filmmaking, more about the responsibilities of people and the deep responsibility of being a director. So it's a real luxury now for me to think I can just walk onto a set and have less responsibility and just concentrate on my role as an actor. And when I want, if I can, and if I get the opportunity to then step behind the camera as a director as well. And it's all part of the same thing, it's all storytelling. So it just depends on what part of that privilege you want to have.
Who were the actors or directors that have inspired you and infused a lot of acting to you?
Oh, there's so many people. You get inspired by everybody. There's such great actors out there. I'm particularly fascinated by the actors who are constantly transforming themselves, and you know, people like Cate Blanchett and Tilda Swinton and Christian Bale and the wonderful Philip Seymour Hoffman and directors like Stephen Frears and the Coen brothers who are kind of moving from one genre to the next and telling all different stories. They're not sticking to the same thing. And as an actor and as a director or as a writer, I think that a story is great, and I don't feel like I need to stick to one thing.